Hello, demigods, monsters, and gods alike. Welcome back to the Olympus Report. Nobody is perfect, and that includes Riordan. Sometimes he makes mistakes, and that's okay, but I'm still going to point them out. Here's everything you need to know about mistakes and plot holes in the Riordanverse. Part 1. Up first, let's start with this passage from The Lightning Thief. We careened out of the Lincoln Tunnel and back into the rainstorm. People and monsters tossed around the bus. Cars plowed aside like bowling pins. Somehow the driver found an exit. We shot off the highway, through half a dozen traffic lights, and ended up barreling down one of those New Jersey rural roads where you can't believe there's so much nothing right across the river from New York. There were woods to our left, the Hudson River to our right. Half-Bloods, I live in New Jersey. I used to take the Lincoln Tunnel to work every day. This makes no sense. You come out of the tunnel and there's lanes of traffic to your left, and a giant stone wall to your right. And you can either go straight to Hoboken, right to Weehawken, or left to North Bergen, all of which are mini-cities. There are no forested roads anywhere near the Lincoln Tunnel. But that's not the only geographical error in The Lightning Thief. It is physically impossible to fall from the Gateway Arch in St. Louis into the Mississippi River, as the Gateway Arch does not span the river. Falling straight down from the archway would land Percy in the middle of a grassy park of the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial. Maybe Rick should check a map. But those aren't the only mistakes I've found in the Riordanverse. There's also some mistakes in the timeline, especially with Percy's schooling. In the Hidden Oracle, Percy mentions that he's a senior, but based on the timeline, he shouldn't be. In the Battle of the Labyrinth, he attends freshman orientation. Since the last Olympian is set after, he should be going into his sophomore year that fall after the events of the book. This means that he should be about halfway through his sophomore year when he disappears in The Lost Hero. Since the events of the Hidden Oracle are set a year after The Lost Hero, Percy should only be a junior, not a senior. But the inconsistencies in the timeline still continue. While Jason Grace is given a tour of Camp Half-Blood, it is said that the new cabins were built last year. However, The Lost Hero takes place only 4 months after The Last Olympian. So that means they would have been built during the Battle of the Labyrinth. And they continue in the Son of Neptune. Reyna has 4 bar lines on her SPQR tattoo, representing 4 years of service in the 12th Legion. However, she did not join the Legion until after the events of the Sea of Monsters, which took place only 3 years before. But in Rick's defense, timelines are really hard to keep track of. So let's move on to some name mistakes. Connor Stoll's name is spelled Connor for the entire series up until the last Olympian, when suddenly it's spelled Connor. Now onto the gods. Nemesis claims that she is called Nemesis in both Greek and Roman, but her Roman form is actually called Viria. For these next 2, Rick actually stated that he just forgot. It's okay. It happens. We forgive you. But again, I'm still pointing them out. In the House of Hades, Piper McLean mistakenly referred to her dad's assistant as Jessica. In The Lost Hero, the assistant's name was Jane. Hazel mentions that Gaia forced her to raise Porphyron when she lived in Alaska, but she actually raised Alcinous. And one last naming hiccup. In Chapter 18 of The Tyrant's Tomb, Apollo refers to Hemithea as Emma instead of her nickname Emmy, which had been previously stated in The Dark Prophecy. Like I said, everyone makes mistakes, and these mistakes in no way hurt your enjoyment of the story, but it's still fun to point them out. Did you notice any mistakes in the Riordanverse? Let me know down in the comments below. But for right now, that's all I have for you, Half-Bloods, so I'm signing off. And please always remember to stay safe.